Here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about how to find properties in the MLS and what we are looking for. Everybody that's on here, I'm going to hook you up, get you a login. So in the messages, please type in your your email address that you use or would like to be invited. This is some software that I use, and I can have unlimited people in here to help me find properties. It's kind of an investor software. It helps me run comps super quick. It's faster. It's not as accurate as the MLS, but it is quick. So what are we doing? Right now, the market sucks. If you have listings right now, you probably can't sell the listings. I've got listings everywhere between $50,000 and $600,000. I can't get anybody to go look at them. Second thing, if you've got buyer clients, for some reason right now, buyer clients are the most difficult people in the world. They're asking for a lot of different things. They are being super picky. Technically, the numbers say it's still a seller's market, but it's not acting that way. So if you're working with buyers, you're having a hard time. And I know right now marketing is really tough because we have 7% interest and everybody's been so used to 2% interest for such a long time. And it makes things buying properties difficult. So we're like, I'm not saying stop being a realtor. It's just hard to be a realtor. So when I get into these kind of situations where I'm at right now, I keep my realtor hat on because I need to use it, but I try to turn around and go, well, I know investors are going to be buying and investors are going to be snatching up deals right now. Warren Buffett, I believe, said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. And right now I'm feeling a lot of fear from a lot of people out there in the marketplace. So this is a good time to try and start finding deals. The more scared people get, the more likely you are to find deals. And Jessica said to me yesterday, day before, something like that. She goes, the deals we're getting from wholesalers, I see them listed in the MLS. So there's a lot of wholesalers that are hitting up these MLS listings, trying to get things off the market, and it's working. So now here's my thing. Am I telling you to be a wholesaler? If you want to be great, me personally, what the purpose of this exercise is not to learn how to be a wholesaler. We are going to be thinking like a wholesaler, but we're not going to try and become a wholesaler. What we're going to do is we're going to keep our realtor hats on because that's what I'm doing to make some quick cash. I want to find the investment properties, see if I can get them anywhere in the ballpark, and then turn around and start telling my investor clients. If you don't have any investor clients, that's okay. Call me. I've got a bunch of them. If you find a property that you think is good and you don't know what to do with it, call me. I'll let you have the majority of the commission because you're going to do all the work. But I am probably going to take a little rake off of it so that way I can make some money and keep my guys happy. And I need to buy some properties. Jessica, I think, needs to buy a property. I know Eric's always looking. So, guys, we have got people everywhere that need to buy properties, that want to buy properties. And now's a good time to find them in the MLS because wholesalers are doing it. And if they can do it, so can we. So let's figure this out. Is there any questions about what I'm trying to accomplish here? Beautiful. So how do we find properties in the MLS that would be good for investors? Oh, good. Rudy's here. He'll be helpful too. How do we find these properties that are good for investors? Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start a search. Now, for those of y'all just quick modern guys, this works really well on your cell phone or like a tablet. It's kind of designed as a mobile website. The classic one is kind of designed for your desktop. So a lot of people ask me what the difference in that is. So right now, guys, we are just going to start with single residential. There are a ton of commercial buyers. Eric buys a lot of land. There's a lot of different stuff people want. But for the sake of this, we are going to just simply do single family for today. Like I said, this is going to be a series, so we're going to keep going. All right, so what am I looking for? That's a really interesting question. First and foremost, we're going to start here. We want the house to be available. So the first thing I do, guys, is I drop off the active option and active RFR. Does anybody know what RFR means? Oh, Jessica doesn't know.
Right of first refusal. Sorry, I was
Right of
muted and
first.
eating.
That's all right. That's what Lunch and Learn's about. You eat up. The right of first refusal. Guys, those are houses that are like in lease options or somebody has the ability to take the deal away. They've got the right of first refusal. Not a lot of realtors use that correctly, so it really doesn't mean much in most MLSs, but that's what it does mean. It's probably in a lease option is what most of the time. And I'm not worried about sold properties just yet. We can do canceled and withdrawn, but right now we're going to just look for what is active. So I'm going to leave all the stuff that's active. Our boundaries. Now, we'll get into boundaries in a minute. I'm going to come back to that. Right now, I just want single detached families because I just want to make this palatable for us to use, and pricing. Now, pricing is a very interesting thing. I'm going to start right now for today, and I'm going to say the most expensive house I want to look at is $300,000 because Collin personally is looking for a flip. Okay. I want to flip a house right now. My coffers are low. I need to get some more money in there. The best way to do that is to flip a house very quickly. Now, the reason why I say 300 when I'm thinking about a flip, it's because most houses that I'm going to flip, I'm going to sell to probably a first-time home buyer, a newer family with small kids, something like that. In those cases, it is a best practice to keep it on the lower end of the market. You know, most new families can't afford an $800,000 house. Some can, but I'm not going to wait for them. I'd rather have the best possible pool of potential buyers, and that's going to be something less than 300, especially in today's interest rate environment. Year built. Now, me personally, I'm not scared of anything. But if you have investor clients, some of them have very specific rules on what they will and will not buy. Some people only buy houses after 1977 because they don't want lead paint, right? 77, right? 77 or 70, 78 is when it was. So 79 and later is what they want. Some people really want stuff that doesn't have cast iron piping in it. So that's going to be like 1960 and later. Some people, you know, just kind of depending on what they want. Me personally, don't really care. Since I'm talking about flipping, in my experience, I really like 3-bedroom, 2 baths. Guys, this is not a hard and fast rule. You can flip a 3-1, you can flip a 2-1. But again, if I look at what I'm here with, newer home buyers, that's kind of what I'm thinking. You can pick whatever you want, guys, and you can even expand beyond this. Parking, I don't really care about. Zip code, this is just how many months back if it's sold. So here's what's interesting. If you do this right now and I click view results, how many 3.2s under 300,000? It's going to be really, really hard to go through it. It's going to be, it exceeds 5,000. Okay. That's too much for you to do. And this is why a lot of people don't do that. Wait, why is this listed for $1? Hold on a minute. Oh, we might have found one, folks. Game room, extra spacious yard, mature, extra storage. This has got to go. Oh, it will sell at auction on July 19th. That's why they put $1 in there. So yeah,
So that might be one that you can call, right? Because just, I mean, somebody's
it's
probably.
going to auction on July 19th and today's the 17th. You got 2 days to close that thing. Or you're going to deal with it at auction, and plus it's in Houston. So, so yeah. Anyways, we're going to go back. We're going to refine the criteria. Okay, so we got to dial this in a little bit more. For the sake of just simplicity today, we're going to do Sabor. You can do hard. There's investors in Houston area. But if you click this little button down here, you can add or remove fields that you can search by. And so one of the things I want to search by is I want to search by days on market. Okay. I want both of those in there because the longer a house has been sitting, the more likely they are to listen to me. The other one that I want to look up is finance. What is it? Preferred. Oh man, what is it in the MLS? Terms.
Proposed terms.
Proposed terms. Thank you. I knew it started with a P somewhere. Thank you. And I'm also going to put proposed terms. Now, Matt already knows where I'm going with this. God, Matt, good job. Proposed terms is what you put on whenever you're like, is it FHA conventional? Why am I doing that? Because I'm going to go all the way down here and I'm going to click on investors. Okay. The problem with clicking that, guys, is that does not mean it's every investor friendly house, but it is a nice place to start. It's a very nice place to start. Once you get through all those, I usually uncheck that and then pick something else, but we're going to start here. I also look for the ones that say cash only. If they say cash, I do want to see those. 100% financing, that's kind of a tricky one, but we'll get to it. And then also first seller carry. Those are for sell by owners that are willing to carry the note. Sometimes that makes sense. But for right now, we're just going to do investors okay. So all I've done is I just took out Houston and added investors okay. Let's see what happens now. Let's see if I've got a manageable list that I can start with. Something tells me it's still gonna be like 2,000. Okay, 400. We're
Oh,
definitely
not
getting
bad.
closer. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good place to start. And as you notice, this actually puts them all in price order. So we start with the lowest possible price. And we also see the days on market are pretty high on that one. So we're actually going to go one more thing, and we're going to say cumulative days on market at 100. What has been on the market for more than 3 months? Here we go. There's 164 of those. Oh, sorry, guys, I want the list view. Click the wrong button. All right, so now I've got these properties. So days on market, all of these are really high days on market. And now we said 100 cumulative and this says 78. Hopefully y'all know the difference because down here at the bottom it says it's been 281 days on market for the cumulative. When they say days on market, they've yanked it off, put it back on for whatever reason. So let's read about this. Seller inherited the property, so there would not be a seller's disclosure notice available. Property is in a floodplain. Fantastic. All measurements, school districts, everything. All right, let's take a look at this house. All right. So the big thing that everybody is like, well, Collin, this house looks pretty good, but I would probably, somebody tell me something. What would you want to see this done to this house? And somebody tell me the other major thing that I'm seeing about this house just by clicking through the pictures. Anybody want to share? Not everybody speak at once. Well, the first thing I noticed, guys, is this is a mobile home.
Well, duh.
Okay. A lot of people don't catch that.
Oh.
The dead giveaways, guys, is if there's a single apex in the middle, that means it's a double wide, and the fact that it's got this skirting. You can also tell by the interior. These walls look like they're made out of vinyl. So as you can see, single apex. This is definitely a double wide trailer. I personally don't like messing with double wides, but that doesn't mean you can't make money off of it. Somebody else might. Next thing that I'm going to see is we're going to have to go through this. Now, this is where Jessica and I actually see pretty close eye to eye on these kind of things. But let's pretend we're going to rehab this property. As I click through it, Jess, agree with me or don't disagree, I don't see anything drastically wrong with the property. It looks like there's air conditioning and heating, so we don't have to worry about that. I don't see any peeling paint or water damage. I don't see any little yellow spots on the roof. I don't see like any major problems. Okay. Nothing in this investor okay thing seems like this huge problem for me. Even the outside doesn't look too bad. But it does look like to me that I'm going to need to touch everything. I'm probably going to need to come, when I say touch everything, it's light work. Like I'm probably going to have to come through and paint the cabinets. I'm going to have to redo the floors to get them a little bit more modern. Maybe not. Here's some carpet in here. I'll probably need to replace that carpet. It's an estate sale. Somebody died in this house, okay, or died and left the house, right? There's some clean out, like this stuff right here. I would want to paint. I would want to get rid of wallpaper and paint.
So my opinion on this would be,
Well,
can I?
yeah, go.
Okay, so my opinion on this is looking at it, one, it's in Hondo, but it is on like a good piece of land that I'm looking at. And if I were to give an offer, I would give an offer based on making it a white canvas. So I would remove all the wallpaper. I would probably redo the flooring, but also probably not, just depending on when we get everything out, whether or not the carpet is salvageable. I would paint everything a more modern scheme, and I would upgrade everything to a level 1 brushed nickel fixtures and whatnot. That will give it a very nice, very neutral thing. In a modular home like that, you could probably get away with like 15,000, maybe, I would say, and that's where I would cap it. So I would be looking to,
How did you come up with 15 grand?
because it's probably a smaller house for one.
Let's take a look. Let's do this math real quick because this is the hard part. 1,300 square feet.
1,300, is it a 3?
It is a 3-2.
That's a 3-2. So I just off the top of my head thought 3-2 based off of looking at the pictures, thinking that it was somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 square feet. 1,500 square feet for one of these is bigger, on the bigger side. So that's why I thought it's a smaller one. But a cosmetic flip on a regular house is no longer anywhere at 20,000. So you're looking at like 30, but when it comes to something smaller like this, I'm talking about how much I would put into it to make it a blank canvas alone.
Right.
I'm not trying to flip this great, like super gorgeous or anything like that because it's in Hondo.
Well, let me give y'all a few things. So she said about 20 grand to redo this. Here's how I do this stuff in my head, because she's speaking from experience on like, hey, I'm going to do, and a lot of y'all are going, hey, I don't know what I should and shouldn't do. Okay, so I'm going to translate a little bit. This vinyl flooring looks okay, and it is a mobile home. The carpet's probably torn to shit. I'm almost going to guarantee you that. Very seldom do mobile homes use decent carpet, and crappy carpet doesn't last but a year or two. So more than likely those are torn to shit. But if the vinyl's salvageable, I'm not going to do that. A good rule of thumb in my head is about $17 a square foot if I need to give it a cosmetic facelift. $17 a square foot. Now, this was what, $13.44, I think you said? So this is $13.44 at $17 a square foot. That's touching everything. That's a $22,000 rehab. That means putting in, and by the way, at $17 a square foot, I am doing the cheapest of the cheap. I'm buying all of this stuff off Amazon, getting rid of the brass, buying cheap stuff off Amazon. Amazon faucets, you know, IKEA faucets. It's going to look good. Now, the higher quality I go, I add a dollar or two per square foot. On a higher, like a mid-grade flip, it's about $20 a square foot. So right there, I'm thinking to myself, let's just pretend it's $20,000. We'll say 25. We'll round up and do some stuff on the outside. Okay. Now, Collin, how much should I offer on this house if I want to buy it? $73,500 is what they're asking. Well, how much is it worth? Great question. This is why I like being able to jump over to a separate app and not doing it all in the same thing, because then I just get confused. You come in here. Can't believe Hondo's not one of the first ones that pulls up. All right, so this is telling me it's worth $71,000. But guys, this is like a Zestimate. It's like Zillow. It doesn't really do a good job, but I can just click over here. It automatically pulls all the comps within a half mile. It's a IDX server website, so it pulls everything out of Sabor. See, there's the picture of the house we're talking about. It's a 3.2. I don't know why my laptop, there's usually a map here. I don't know why my laptop will not, there's something with a graphics card on this thing. But I can just go down here and look at this, guys. These are all 15th Street, 21st Street, 17th Street. Obviously, these are all pretty close. Not a mobile home and trash. That's a nice house. That's a nice house. That's a nice house. I don't even know what that is. That just looks like dirt. Nice house, nice house. Really nice houses. Okay. So probably the closest thing I'm going to get to is I look at these. This is 215. That's the list price. The green means it's still active. This one listed for 100 and sold for 100. So what does a $100,000 house look like 4 streets over?
Like a house,
Looks like a house. Now that's old as hell.
but it's not a modular home, so you can't use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for comps, you can't use it, but I'm just curious as what people will pay 100 grand for. There's an old farmhouse.
But see, that's what I'm saying. So if this is 100 grand, look at that. I don't think on the other one, and this is where we could go totally back and forth on
Yeah.
how much you should put in and how much you shouldn't. I just think that for right now, when people go and look at that, they look at it and see it's too much for what they want to do to just move in. So if you just make it a blank canvas, and I'm not talking about roof, I'm not talking about HVAC, I'm not talking about windows, I'm not talking about
Just
anything
kind of
like
an
that.
as is, but
Just
just
a-
blank.
Think hotel.
Yeah.
You know, you buy it, you clean it.
Oh,
you
did y'all
paint
hear
it.
that word? Hotel? So let's go back real quick. Let's say this house, this one I'm not going to spend too much more time on. If you're an investor, I'm going to say almost everybody wants to buy at 75%. So take the ARV at 75%, and then I'm going to subtract that $25,000. Whoops. And that's going to tell me I want to offer about 50,000 on that house. Okay. So now what do? It's like, Collin, I think they will take $50,000. You know what? It's not a bad idea. Now, the only reason I'm not gonna write up an offer for 50 grand is because I really don't want to be out in Hondo, but we're getting close. We got a little sidetracked on this. Let's do another one.
So what I would do here is I would reach out to the agent and I would say, hey, would your buyers entertain a 50,000, somewhere around 50,000? That way they know that you're interested. And then you can, then if they say yes, then you go out, take a look at it, make sure that your numbers are right, because you can, think about, or from pictures, it looks like that. But
Yeah.
when you get out there, it could be totally different.
To Jessica's point, like this one I wouldn't buy and it's in Hondo. So if I'm gonna drive to Hondo, I want to know if that's even a consideration. So that's not a bad one to call on. If so, actually, you know what? Somebody call her. Y'all can look this up. Somebody text me. Jessica says she's gonna do it.
What is it? What's that?
Kendall Velasquez.
What's the phone number?
Are you gonna do it right now?
Yeah.
All right, screw it. 830-423-4330.
Angel, you said?
Kendall.
Kendall.
Tell her 40.
What's the
Tell her 50.
fucking street name?
501-15.
Hi, Kendall. My name is Jessica Hampton. I'm calling from White Line Realty about your modular home in Hondo on 15th Street. I'm calling to see if you think that your your sellers, I'm sorry, would entertain an offer somewhere around 40.
No, ma'am.
No?
We've gotten offers pretty close to asking and she has said no.
Got it. Okay.
Unfortunately, I know.
No
I
problem.
can definitely ask her. I can definitely ask her. You said this is for the one on 15th Street, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so she lives in California. It was actually her dad's house. And we've tried. I've tried with her, to get her to come down on it a little bit, but, to be quite honest, she wants to stick to right around the asking price.
Okay,
But
so
I will definitely ask her and see what she says. Would it be a cash offer?
it would be, yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I guess it's safe to say that she's not in any rush, right? Because it's been sitting for a little bit.
a lot of it.
Yeah, well, so just FYI, it would be for myself, so I wouldn't be doing any commission on it or anything like that, so, there wouldn't be any contingencies, it would be, close, all that good stuff. I'm a cash buyer, so, if you let her know that, that might do some help. I did see that it was, there was an air thing, I think it was. So if
Yeah.
she leaves it all behind, I'll take care of it if it still has all the stuff in it. Like, she doesn't have to do anything at all to it.
Okay, I will definitely, reach out to her right now and give her that and see what she says.
Perfect. Sounds good. Just shoot me a text if there is any hope, or if she feels like there's any type of negotiation in it, like, hey, maybe I can't get to the 70. I know that I can't do that, but if she comes back with something that she feels is a little more doable. Oh, I was saying I can't get to, I am. I was saying I can't get to the 70, but if she comes back and says that there's something that's a little bit more doable for her, I can see if I can get there. So just let me know. All right. Okay. Thanks so much.
Oh, very good. Very good.
How did I do?
I thought you did good. Guys, somebody say something. Number one, she just said, hey, is it worth driving out there? We got all the information we needed. This lady stuck in the sand. She threw a handful of things at her that might help. I'm sure the other guys offered cash,
Mhm.
but she said, hey, I'm an agent, so there's no commission, right? I'm gonna quick close. I'm actually the end buyer. You know what I mean? Things like that.
And
But-
I also, whenever I do this, because, we're primarily investors. So if you see that they have a lot of stuff in there, you can, especially if you don't have investors, but you're trying to say, maybe we want to look at it. Something that always helps us close is don't touch anything. It's a hassle for you to move stuff and whatnot. Leave it alone. We'll take care of that.
Yeah, and
So-
I say the same thing. I think you might have learned that from me. I was like, hey, look, I'm bringing dumpsters.
Me,
Shut up.
sure.
Anyways, I was like, I'm gonna bring dumpsters, guys. It's like, if you don't want it, just leave it here. There's no sense in you loading it and taking it to a dumpster. I'll bring the dumpster here. And they really do tend to appreciate that. But guys, now it's like, oh man, we went to one and we got a friendly realtor that told us no. guys, that took, I mean, with me explaining it, let's say 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you would have sold that to an investor for $40,000, you would have made $800 in 20 minutes. I know it's not a ton of money, but let's do another 20 minutes worth, right? It's going to start going faster. Let's take a look at this one, 3139 Weir Avenue. So real quick, I'm just curious.
Where?
Weir,
WEAR?
E-I-R.
I wonder what I did that made.
Let's see what the Zestimate is real quick on this one. All right, it's saying 105. So they're basically asking full price at 110. Let's take a look at what we see here. A driveway, stucco on the outside of that house. That's true
Looks like
siding.
there's-
Roof looks scary.
There's 3 houses on one lot.
So-
Nobody, I don't want that.
And no interior pictures. So guys, whenever I see no interior pictures, I immediately go to $20 a thing. A $20 period the end. Just because I don't know what to expect. And that $20 is probably still going to be low end, but I'm going to want to see the inside, obviously, because it'll pay for, because there's probably a lot of holes in the walls and crap like that. Plus, I don't know if y'all see this line compared to the fence line makes me real nervous.
Yeah.
Like there's some possible foundational issues.
But
So
but that also falls into line, guys, with whether or not, like, you still have to engage with the realtor, you know? So if you engage with them and let them know, hey, I want to take a look at it. Can you give me a little information about it? Do you have any interior pictures? Sometimes they'll be dicks about it and just be like, well, set up a showing, go look at it. And then at that point, you have to figure out whether or not you think that price is worth it, you know? That's all.
available as a commercial lot. That's over near Kennedy.
Did you do 3 beds? Is that why? Did you?
Yeah,
do
I did 3
bed?
bed. So what makes me nervous, guys, is this is telling me it's a 3-bedroom that's 600 square feet. I'm not,
Oh.
that's way too confusing to go through this right now. Let me find one.
It's probably a 1-bedroom each with 3 structures on it.
You think so?
Well, with 1 bathroom? No, it has 2
Okay,
bathrooms.
this is a pretty, okay, this will be a fun investment. All right, let's do this one. Sorry, guys, I keep finding the hard ones. All right, they're asking $128,000. This thing is over in Palm Heights. That's kind of over in the east side, kind of by Dignity, for those of y'all that don't know.
I don't know what I did, but I'm not picking up your list.
All right, 1,100 square feet. They're saying it's worth 164. Guys, again, there's usually like a map. I don't know what's up with the card, so it's usually a lot of help. When I do it on my desktop, it's fine. All right, so out the gate, they're saying it's worth 165. They're asking 128. They're like, oh, we're gonna go down on this. Yeah. So guys, when you see a house like this, here's what happened. An investor went in here and decided he was going to flip this house, got way over budget really fast, didn't realize how much it was going to take. He ran out of money and he gave up. I'm going to tell you right now on this house, you can call on this one. I would probably skip it because I'm telling you right now, if we say $20 a square foot just to touch it up, now you got to start adding in the cost of drywall, cost of flooring, probably some new windows, insulation. Guys, you're spending $150,000 finishing this house. Minimum.
What year was it built?
It looks like
20s.
1920, yeah. 1940. Yeah, so I'm just skipping that one. I wouldn't even like if this one, it's been around forever, I'm sure. 100 days on market, right at 3 months. They're not hurting bad enough. You could call this one, you would probably try and call and see if you can get a short sell on. Oh, that's in Divine. Let's not do Divine right now. Sorry, I'm trying. All right, cute one. 140. Over on the east side. So here's what I'm noticing, guys. Sorry, I need to talk more. Cute exterior, great curb appeal, right? Looks like it's been flipped. It's already done. You've got popcorn ceilings up here. As soon as I see this, they've got a new mini split in. Not central. It's got a mini split. It's telling me it's a little bitty tiny house that's already been done and flipped. It looks like somebody lived there for a little bit. Honestly, this isn't going to be one that I think is going to be worth one of the other nice things about my little software over here is when I do this, probably correct my suspicions. Somebody bought this off of Flipper and then lived there for about a year. 22, so 2 years. And somebody bought it in 21 and then sold it again in 22. So that is definitely smells like a flipper that somebody's just like, okay, I'm ready to move now. They don't like living over on the east side. All right, so I'm not going to even touch that one because they're probably not going to take the loss. Next one, free on. Oops, let's just show everybody where that is. Since I
This is a
clicked it.
good one.
Which one?
This is Holly Street, 126 Holly Street. Prospect Hill,
Do I-
32.
Hold on a second. Let me keep working through these because they're not going to be able to find it. If you're doing. Okay, this is a good one for a flip right here. This one's interesting. All right, the reason why I'm saying that, we got this wall, it's got some dirt on it, it kind of looks ugly. This flooring's ugly. As you can tell, this thing hasn't been painted in God knows how long. Then take a look at this crack right there. That tells me there's possible foundation issues. Anything that goes diagonal, guys, that's what scares me more than anything. This is extremely dated. Could definitely use some touch-ups. This wood stuff that's over the sink, that's kind of fallen out of fashion, but the cabinets aren't too bad.
You can reface it.
And there's a hallway. When I'm looking at this hallway, guys, you can see they patched something in the drywall.
It's probably the back of a.
Probably the back of a tub or shower or something. This makes me a little bit nervous here. It looks like there might be some water damage. So when I look at the exterior of the house, I'm going to want to make sure that I've got a good eye on the roof. This is what I do when I look through them. This is just ugly. I do like these ones with the fold out iron boards. I love those. I always leave those in. All right. All right. This one looks like fun. This is a good little flip. Let's see what it would take to make it make sense.
Where are we?
418 something. Free lawn. All right, so this is saying it's 168. They're asking 140. They're thinking it's 20,000 under. So guys, a lot of people when they list them, that's more than $20,000. Most realtors think, okay, it's worth 160, but it needs 20,000 to repair. I'll list it for 140. Which works if the people want to move in and that's where their house is going to be. It does work for you, but an investor is not going to pay that. So let's figure out what an investor would pay. Before I even do anything, I read through all of this because sometimes they say, no investors, we're never going lower than this. Excellent investment opportunity. It's been on the market for almost a year.
And they canceled too.
Oh, and by the way, did you see it canceled?
Yeah, they've been trying to sell it since 2023 at 174.9. They put it back on at 179 a year later.
Yep, did you hear that, guys? So started at 175, they're on 175 again. They're just not getting it, and she's got a GRE and all this stuff. But let's take a look. All right, so it's saying it's 165. If we want to look at the comps a little bit closer on my thing to see, I think it should be a little bit more than that. We should probably find some better ones. All right, Jessica, tell me what, just looking at these pictures for number's sake, what would you tell me?
60.
60. She does it like I do it. I was going to say 65.
60 at minimum.
I was going to say 65 because I'm assuming the roof and I can't see it. But so $20 touching everything. Boom, right? This is to me. So when I said 17 at the base, I'm going to have to come through here and do some stuff on this. Looking around here. And guys, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to get an idea and get in the ballpark. Drywall scraping. So scraping the popcorn ceilings and retexturing, that immediately adds $1. I say about $1.50 a square foot. 18. Like these screens are going to have to come off the front. And it probably needs a new roof. A new roof is going to cost about $6,000 on this thing.
Like
65? I did it in my head.
Well,
So what,
yeah.
talk through it. Talk through it.
so if we did the $20 a square foot, like he said at the 2192, that puts us at 4380. It's solely cosmetic. Okay, that's not doing foundation, your windows, your roof, your HVAC, anything like that. So I'm gonna assume that the roof is going to need to be replaced. So I'm gonna say $6,500. That's what I was saying, 6,500. I'm gonna assume that the windows need to be replaced, which is $300 a pop for window. Most of the time there's 12. So, what's that number?
How much for a window?
300.
3 times 12 is $3,600.
So plus $3,600. Okay, we're at 53 right now. That's literally roof and.
There's gonna be a
windows.
new air conditioner needed.
New HVAC needed, that's probably another $6,000, unless it's us that does it and we can do it a little bit cheaper, but anyway.
So
This is
not a sales pitch.
I'm sorry, that's just to say that it's already in there. I didn't see, are there vents in there?
I haven't seen any vents, but I don't think it's in there. I don't see any.
I don't
vents.
see an HVAC in there, so I'm gonna actually say 7,500 because
Got it
I also don't
ducks.
even see window units in there, so just in case you have to start over, so 7,500. That's 6,144 right now.
Round up to 65 for good measure.
65.
I come back over here, so we're at $65,000. I'm gonna take a quick look at this. So Theo sold 3.2, ours is bigger, this is smaller, listed for 150, sold for 50. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, guys, people take these offers after a while. That sold for 50?
Wow. I'd
Damn.
take it for 50.
Yeah, somebody stole that. Something must have been going on. That's not a good comp though. 2.2 list sold for 95. Here's a 2.1. Ours is a 3.2. Normally I can see the map and see how far off we are. That doesn't really count. This is probably a pretty good comp, except it's significantly smaller. It's listed for 140.
I would say the ARV on this is probably like 180.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. So it says 165, but it's probably, let's say 175. Let's split the difference. We're going to go back to our handy dandy calculator and let's do the math. $175,000 times 0.75 minus the $65,000 we think it'll be needed to repair, $66,250, right? So we're somewhere between 65 and 70. Y'all saw how easy it is just to call up there and go, hey, look, I know you got this thing at 140. I know it's been on the market over a year. If I didn't take commission, I didn't do this. Would you consider something around 65? They'll say, I don't even know. Okay, well, find out if you know. If so, I'd like to go by and look at it because I know it needs a lot of work. Some of them may argue with you too.
Some of them.
It doesn't need that much work. Go.
Somebody might hang, oh, it doesn't need that much work. Well, if it doesn't, I still have to look at it. I still have to look at it to verify that. That's good to hear. Just based off the pictures, that's where I'm preliminary. But if I can get in there to take a look at it, I can be more accurate with it. Hopefully, you're right. Hopefully, it doesn't need all that work, but I still got to see it. So can I get in and take a look at it? That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
If they start pushing back, we'll just try and get into it. Uh-oh.
Um,
Yeah, you got a call.
also, yeah, I got a call. The worst they can do is say no, guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
So guys, generally speaking, a roof is about $5,000 per 1,000 square feet. Generally speaking, if it's a 2,000 square foot house, it's about $10,000. If it's a 3,000 square foot house, it's about $15,000. Good rule of thumb. I told you work on that $17. Most air conditioners, guys, are going to be between $5,000 and $8,000. Add an extra grand if there is no current air conditioning, because we got to add in the ductwork and whatnot. I'm trying to think of some other generalized numbers. Anybody have any other generalized numbers? I'm going to get up and move so I can plug my computer back in. Has anybody got any numbers that they want to share? Matt, I know you do this a lot.
What I'd be curious to know is how you calculate foundation repair.
Oh, excellent question. Where's my charger? Sorry. That is a fantastic question. So most foundation guys, okay, first and foremost, when it comes to foundation, do not just call 1-800-foundation. It's going to be $1 million. Most foundation guys that you speak to charge between, at normal pricing, charge between $600 and $800 a pier. So when they do foundation repairs, guys, they actually different strokes for different folks. Sometimes they use steel, sometimes they use concrete. Doesn't matter. Somewhere between $600 and $800. But if the corner of your house is sinking, they will literally put a concrete pier underneath it and hold up your house. Okay. Now, just like anything else, you've got a big giant rock. You can't just put one pier on the corner because then it's going to start to have weight on that. So they want to put a pier in about every, I can't remember what it is, like 8 feet or something, or 6 feet, something like that. So the way that I judge foundation repairs, if I see one crack through a house like that, I'm going to assume it needs 5 piers. Okay. You never just get one pier ever. That just never happens. And then I'm going to assume at least 5. So we're at least at $3,500. Okay. Right. Somewhere in that area. If I see one foundational crack, if I see 2, 3, or 4, I just kind of keep adding on like that. Now that's for my visual inspection. If I'm just looking at pictures, every crack, I'm going to add about $3,500 in foundation. If it's a diagonal crack, if they come straight up off the door frame, sometimes it's just settling, guys. A tape line could pop. A lot of people will see a tape line pop where the roof and the wall meet, and they're like, "Oh my God, the foundation." I was like, "No, it's humid in this house. That's all that means."
But you can totally tell the sellers that it's foundation.
You can tell them, but that's maybe a little unethical. But you should for sure, when you go walk the property, at that point, I kind of decide, like, how bad does it feel? Guys, you can feel foundation problems. Everybody can feel it. It is subtle, but you notice it. You notice yourself feeling like you want to walk down the corner of a room, and depending on how bad it feels, you just got to realize, like, if it goes to a corner of a house and it feels really, really deep, like it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm walking down 3 inches, guys, that's going to be probably 15 piers. They're going to have to do 8 down one side and 7 down another. $700 a pier. Do the math. We're looking at about a $10,000 foundation repair. If it's subtle, you never know. Also, another thing, guys, that's how I estimate foundation repairs. But the point of today's exercise is not to be able to just look at pictures and magically know what general contractors know. You can't do it, guys. I'm trying to get you in the ballpark, right? So if I call these guys and I say, "Hey, would you consider 65,000 or whatever for whatever house," right? And I know I'm lowballing them, and they go, "You know what? He is fed up. He's tired of it." I said, "Hey, I need to go check it out." When you get to that point, call me, call Jessica, call a general contractor, set up the showing and showing time, and go with them. That was the video I was shooting yesterday. One of my clients, I found the property. I saw what needed to be done. I sent it over to him. He goes, "I like it. Let's go look at it." I took him to go look at it. He goes, "Let's put it under contract. Give me an option period." I said, "Got it." And then we went and saw it again, and he brought all his contractors for his final pricing. You can bring your contractors on the first one. It doesn't matter. But this is just kind of a general idea. Does anybody have any other questions?
So how long of an option period do you normally ask for?
Me, once I make an offer, I have a pretty good idea about it, personally.
If it were you, you should do at minimum 3 days.
I'd say at least 3 days. At least 3 days for most everybody else. Remember, the fewer option period days you have, the sexier it is. Like, if there is one thing that I am really concerned about, I'm like, man, I just really don't know. There was a ghost in the attic. How much does Ghostbusters charge? I got to figure that out, but I need to tie it up.
Most of the time, the biggest thing is the foundation, because most of the time when you walk into a house and you're like, "Oh man, I don't know if this is going to cost me 7 or 20, because it's all wonky." So that's most of the time. So you have to have enough time to be able to get your foundation person in there to be able to get an accurate number. Because then if it's wonky, you also have to be like, okay, where is it? Is plumbing going to break or things
So
like
yeah,
that?
Everything that we talk about in real estate just keeps going down a rabbit hole. If I get in there and he goes, "Collin, it's going to be a $15,000 foundation repair." Guys, I'm not scared of foundation repairs. Don't be scared of them.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Just work them into your numbers, right? But what most people don't think is like, oh, $15,000. My next question is show me the map, because they give you a map of the property and where they're going to put piers. And I'm going to look at that. And if the piers are anywhere near a bathroom, kitchen, anything with water, if it's all in the garage, I don't give a shit. If it's all underneath the master bathroom, like, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, okay, now I need to call. It's like, now I'm going to add in, like, I'm adding $10,000 on top of it, because you're probably going to break a pipe. And then you got to go fix the pipe.
That just happened to me and it cost me $17,000. So
But you had like 2 breaks, or was it just one?
I had two, well, I had roots actually,
Uh,
but because we did foundation, they requested the static test. We did the static test and we failed, but we would have failed it regardless because it was roots. So, yeah.
so, all right. Any other questions? Guys, go through these and use these general numbers. Try it. Spend like 2 hours doing it. You're going to get faster and faster. I mean, what did we go through? 4 properties? We're going to do it again next week. I'm just going to start speeding it up because, guys, I can burn through properties. You saw me just kind of click through a handful of them, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Hadn't been long enough. Hadn't been this. Wait a minute. This one kind of looks like it'll work. And we're going to
use the $20 as a general number to be able to, if it looks cosmetic, if it looks like it's not falling to the side, use the $20 rule. And then when you call the agents, see if they're in the realm. If so, then you can get out there, take a look at it, get one of us out there, get whoever you want out there. Then you could say, okay, this is where we're going to be. And you can still put that number in, get a 3-day option period, and then work the negotiation in at that point.
Yeah.
You know, that's typically how a lot of people do it. I mean, I don't like to do that because I like to just get it done. But a lot of people will.
and
hire
also,
negotiate.
like, here's the thing. This house has been sitting on the market for 300 days because they're asking too much.
Mhm.
Period. The end. They have got to know. Now, some of them are going to tell you to F off. Some of them are going to be like, you know what, we'll consider it. Some of them are just wait, you know, some of these things just get stagnant.
Some of them are like the lady that we just talked to, where she's like, we all know that it should be lower, but she wants this number. You can't do anything when a seller wants a certain number.
Put her in your CRM and say, I'll call you back in a month.
Mhm.
Is she ready yet? Is she ready yet? You know, and because guys, you make your money on the buy. You've got to be patient with it. Now, again, if you get somebody like this house right here, and I come up with a number and it's $65,000, I'm like, hey, would you even consider 65 if I were to close it by the end of July? You know what I mean? If I can get you the money in your hand by the end of July, would you consider it? And they go, yeah, I would. Call me, call somebody. I will go with you. I'm telling you, if you get a fish on the hook, call somebody to come help you reel it in. And then we'll show you how to negotiate the rest of it. We're going to do it all live on air because that'll be awesome.
The best thing that you can do to try to learn to get these things is follow somebody, listen to them talk, see what they say, know what they're looking at. That's the absolute best thing that you can do to try to figure out for next time when you see something. Oh man, I saw this last time, so this is probably going to come up again. You're only going to learn if you do it.
I'm going to tell you, does anybody want to know real quick? Like, what's funny, like I'm telling you, you get really fast at this. Like I'm looking at this one right here. I was like, that's a good looking house. It's got a good front elevation to it, right? I go through it and I look at it and I said, these are all windows. There's only one door, right? That's probably a second door. Okay. Jessica's already asking the right question. Is that a duplex? I see another door here and another door here. Before I clicked on it, I saw it was like 3,600 square feet. Yeah, 3,697. This is a massive house, and they have this under single family. Huh. Contact, submit an offer with these people. This property is being offered as is. Best use to 3 or 4 unit multifamily residence. BCAT has square footage listed at 3,697. This one's interesting, but I'm gonna have to show y'all how to run quadplexes later.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Stick to one thing.
we're gonna stick to one thing today, but that's an interesting one, especially down there on Pyron. That's down on the south side. And I bet you can rent those things out quick, depending on how it's configured. Now, the problem is, guys, you are going to need a very experienced investor because this thing is a turd biscuit. And let me tell you, I've done some $150,000, $160,000 rehabs, and it takes a long time. And I don't want to mess with that one personally, but anyways, so happy hunting. Go find something. Bring it to me. Somebody call me this week. Let's go look at some properties. Anybody else got any questions before I go? Because I'm hungry now. Nope. All right. Well, I love you all. Have a great day.